All right, what's up, everybody? Look, things are starting to shift in the stock market following yesterday's news from the Iran conflict. And so in today's video, we're going to go over exactly what that news was, why it's starting to shift the market back around as things are looking a little bit positive today, and exactly what it could mean for the stock market going forward. So as per usual, let's not waste too much time at all, and let's get straight into the video. So as we can see here, the market is just about to open, and futures are looking pretty decent on the day. We got the S&P, the Dow, NASDAQ, and Russell 2000 all positive on the futures, which I'll take it because if you were paying attention to prices just yesterday, things got really ugly. I believe at the low, VOO was down about 2.2% on the day, which is a pretty big pullback for the S&P 500. And so seeing a little bit more positivity from the market definitely does feel good. Now, this positivity is all stemming from the news that we are getting currently from the Iran conflict regarding the Strait of Hormuz. Now, to give you a bit of context, if you've not been paying attention to this situation, the Strait of Hormuz is a little bitty body of water right here, right in between the UAE and Iran that is incredibly important. This little body of water is responsible for the delivery of about a fifth of the world's oil, and what happens here has a major impact on oil prices. If there's a big slowdown in this strait, it can constrain the overall supply of oil to the world, which oftentimes causes a lot of chaos in the market because remember, oil prices have a direct impact on asset prices. As you can see here from this little graphic we had made, when oil prices go up as a result of supply falling, usually that'll cause inflation to go up, which can cause monetary policy to pause or tighten, which then causes liquidity to fall, and it can cause asset prices to fall as well, like stocks and crypto. So anytime you see big things happening in the Strait of Hormuz that can impact oil prices, you got to be paying attention to it as a stock market investor because it will eventually impact your stock prices, okay? And so what we've been getting over the last couple of days have been some big updates from the Strait of Hormuz that I want to walk you through. But let me kind of tell you the story. Let me tell you what happened. So yesterday, we saw Iran come out and basically say, hey, no vessels can pass through the Strait of Hormuz except for you, China. You're cool. We're cool with you. And it does make sense, right? Iran supplies a ton of oil to China. So obviously they're going to want Chinese vessels to be able to pass through. They don't want smoke with China and the US at the same time. That wouldn't really go super well, right? And so they said that just yesterday. Now, this caused the market to freak out. And if you were paying attention to the stock market yesterday, we got a ton of volatility as a result of this news because people started worrying. Like, okay, if only China can get oil through the strait, that's going to cause a pretty solid shortage for many other countries in the world. That could cause oil prices to start to absolutely fly. Things could really start getting ugly from here. And so the market reacted to it pretty negatively. Things got a little bit worrying. Well, not too long after this, Trump came out and said, I don't think so. I don't think so. And as you can see, that President Trump said that the U.S. will immediately offer political risk insurance and guarantees for energy tankers and other ships in the Gulf region, and that the Navy will escort tankers through the Strait of Hormuz if needed. So Trump basically came out and said, or what? Right? Like Iran, you're saying that no other vessels can pass through, but what if they do? What if we're there with them, making sure they pass through? What are you going to do about it? Because the reality of the situation is that Iran's air force has been neutralized in many capacities. Their navy has been neutralized in many capacities. Their military guidance and leadership is, all over the place right now. So realistically, like, what are you going to do about it? And this, in my opinion, is Trump's way of making a play on the Strait of Hormuz and a play in the Gulf, taking some ownership of it. Now, obviously not literal ownership, like owning it, but the reality is like if you have military vessels who are guiding people through the strait saying who can and can't go through, who owns it? If somebody stands in front of your front door at your house with a rifle and says, hey, you can come in and you can't come in, I'm not going to say they own it, but they have a lot of control over it. And we all know that's what this whole play is, right? The Venezuela situation is an oil play. The Iran situation is an oil play. The Strait of Hormuz, it's an oil play. But the market loved this response because you know what happened is that when Trump came out and said, like, hey, we'll just make sure everyone gets through safely, what it did is it alleviated some of the uncertainty that this whole Iranian conflict has caused. Because realistically, a lot of people, whenever they saw all of this happen with Iran, they were like, oh my God, what's going to happen to oil prices? And that's been one of the major sticking points of this whole thing for stock market investors because we know if oil goes up, going to start to see inflation go up, and we know what happens there. That's not good for stocks. It's not good for most assets, right? And so a lot of people have been very uncertain, worried, and even selling their stocks in fear of how these oil prices were going to impact the market. And so by doing this, by Trump saying this, it alleviated a lot of that worry. It alleviated a lot of that fear. A lot of people are like, oh, there's a solution here. So even if this continues to escalate in Iran, there is a possible solution for how this could not impact oil too much. And as a result, of course, we saw the market start gaining some traction. Not only did we see the market start gaining some traction, but we also saw Brent crude oil actually stall out. And over the last 24 hours, we've seen this pump that it's had really stall out, actually pulling back from 84 back down to $80 at the time of recording this video. Now, does that mean that it's done forever and that it can't continue to go back up? No. Could Trump change his mind and that immediately cancel out all of the positivity that's been generated in the market right now? Absolutely. Could Trump possibly send in Navy vessels to protect vessels in the Strait of Hormuz? Iran engage them, and that escalates the conflict so much further that all hell breaks loose? Yes, that also could happen as well. So I'm not saying that this whole situation is resolved and that the stock market is in the clear. But what I am saying is that this does provide a possible solution to this big uncertainty within this whole situation that the market obviously likes, right? And that gives me a little bit of confidence, especially going forward, that, hey, maybe there is a bit of a solution to this situation. Maybe we can start to see the market moving past this situation as time does go on. So it's only one small domino and a bunch of dominoes that do need to fall, but I do think it's an incredibly important update and piece of breaking news that's happening right now that you need to be watching closely, because remember, what happens with oil will have a major impact on the stock market, the crypto market, and many other asset classes. So I'll keep you updated as this all does play out. I personally have not made any more moves over the last 24 hours in my portfolio. You guys know I did open up that SoFi position just yesterday, and that's actually looking pretty good, up about 6% so far at a $113 return in just 24 hours. So I will take it. But outside of that, I've not really done too much. I'm just kind of sitting back, letting the situation play itself out and seeing how the markets respond to it. Currently, the portfolio is right around $387,000. So not too dang bad. I'll update you when I do make my next moves. And if you have been enjoying the content, staying up to date with my own portfolio and obviously what's happening with this Iran situation, don't forget this is a brand new YouTube channel that I started just a couple of days ago. So feel free to join the journey. Subscribe. You'd be super early. Be like subscriber number 5. So welcome in. I hope you guys have enjoyed the journey, enjoyed the content, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. See you, everybody.